everybody, welcome back to my channel. My name is Emily. My favorite makeup today is this. This is the Dr. Jart Premium BB Beauty Balm. This is in the shade Light Medium. This is multi-action skincare and makeup with an SPF of 45. I've been trying this out because I had a sample of it to see if it was a better fit for me than the Tarte Guard tinted moisturizer, because I actually have felt that hasn't been sitting right on my skin, and I'm much preferring this, and it has a higher SPF. Like, I think the color is good for me. It's not even very noticeable as a color, really. This has different shades to it, but it sort of just blends into your skin and just gives you the SPF protection. It evened me out a little bit, and then I just put powder on top. So I'm actually pretty pleased with it so far. And now on to the video. So for today's video, we're going to be looking at some new makeup releases. So I'm going to be trying on this. This is the new Sephora Pro Mini Palette. This is the Neon Palette. And I also picked up the Kat Von D Basket Case Anti-Precision Eyeliner, which is a collaboration with Billie Joe from Green Day. So I'm actually really excited to try this. Apparently it's supposed to be good for people who are bad at putting on eyeliner. So let's see what happens. So first up with the Sephora Pro Palette, you can see that the name is on there. It's just sort of reflective a little bit. This is a cardboard palette. This is $20. This is basically taking shades from the Sephora Editorial Pro Palette that came out last year, and they put it into a smaller package. I actually did take a look at that Sephora Editorial palette. I ended up not buying it just because it was a little expensive and I didn't want all of the colors in it. I'll insert a photo of it here. So that palette was $68, but you got 28 shades. That top row of shades, at least the first couple, were sort of like topper shades that could change the color. The Transformer shade thing that's going around lately, like Urban Decay has those, Noir has those. And I get it, those make sense. It's basically just putting a shimmer on top. Those were a little bit powdery to me in the store, so I wasn't sure if I needed this whole palette because I thought realistically I might use about half of it and the rest of it was probably just going to go to waste. And for $68, I didn't know if I really wanted it. So for the big full palette, if you purchased that, that basically came out to $2.42 a shade, which I think is pretty good. So there is a price difference. I am definitely paying more money for less shadow, but I didn't want all of those. I would prefer to have this. This is also a lot smaller and a little bit more travel friendly for me. And these are 0.04 ounces or 1.2 grams of product. So you are still getting a ton of product in this palette. Since this is made by the Sephora brand, it's not cruelty free, and since it also says on the back that it may contain carmine, it's also not vegan. When the original palette came out, I was impressed with a lot of the colors, though I did find that the palette was a little bit powdery. Frankly, it reminds me a lot of how the Subculture palette behaves. You just sort of have to have a light hand with it, and it does apply pretty well. Although I don't find I get a lot of fallout from Subculture, but I've heard that people do get fallout from these Sephora shadows. However, I'm going to try to make a look with these today, and then I'm going to try out that Kat Von D eyeliner as well. There is a removable plastic insert that has the names of the shades. They're not otherwise on this palette. I may just end up making labels to stick on here because this has already gouged one of my shadows pulling it out, so I don't want to keep it in there. And so for today, I kind of want to use as many of these as possible, so I'm going to sort of make a fun look and see what happens. Right, so I'm going to try that tealish shade and see how that applies on the lid. The best part is this has a mirror. And it's a pretty decent mirror, I must say. Look how much product I got on my brush just by tapping it very lightly, and there's really no kick up in the pan. I do think it actually blends fairly smoothly. It's not getting too patchy when I apply it. It was a little hard getting it onto the right at the lash line, but otherwise it's going on pretty well. I'm actually pretty pleased with the pigment. Be aware that these are all matte shadows, so if you want to add any shimmer, you're going to have to use another palette for that. Also, I wouldn't say you necessarily have a good transition shade in this. Depends on what you like to use as a transition shade. So this will probably be a duo palette for a lot of people, especially if you're just going to add like a little pop of color. I'm just going to use this palette and see what ends up happening. I think I'm going to take a little bit of that electric violet, and I'm going to see what happens if I blend that in the crease. It might not be the right decision. I acknowledge and accept that. Actually, I really like it. It's very pretty. I would say I think that electric violet does not go on quite as pigmented as Tila does, but it does look like it builds pretty nicely if you keep adding product. And then I think I'm going to take a little bit of Chris, and I'm going to take that sort of in my corner in my outer V. I'm going to try not to go up as high as I accidentally did the other day with my bright red eyeshadow, so I don't get that same problem. Not really getting the color payoff I'm hoping for with Chris. I'm going to try again and see if I can pack a little bit more into the corner there. This blue shade is not blending very well. I'm gonna get a different brush out. Alright, I'm liking the effect I'm getting so far. I'm gonna take that white shade, which is called Porcelain, and take that on my brow bone just a little bit. This white shade, Porcelain, goes on pretty sheer, but I'm actually okay with it. It's good as a brow bone highlight. So in terms of fallout, really the only one who gave me any trouble was the blue shade Chris. The other ones didn't appear to do that. So I'm going to dust a little bit of that off, and then we're going to work under the lash line. We're also going to try this out. This is the Kat Von D Basket Case Anti-Precision Eyeliner. This is in the shade Insomniac Black. That's the only shade there is currently. This is a limited edition. This is a collaboration with Billie Joe Armstrong from the band Green Day, because he's sort of known for his smudgy black eyeliner. This is supposed to be the best eyeliner to help you do that kind of look, but also have good staying power throughout the day. This costs $19. So this eyeliner has a built-in sharpener into the bottom, so you can just sort of sharpen everything up with this. It snaps in, and then this is what the tip looks like. It's a crayon eyeliner. I did swatch it in the store and it went on very smoothly and very easily. I'm not very good at doing precision eyeliner, so I thought, well, maybe I should get this. Although I have plenty of black eyeliners. So what I decided was I was going to pick it up, and if I really, really like it, I'm going to declutter some of those other black eyeliners that I have hanging around, because I've got at least like 2 Urban Decays kicking about that I don't use very often, and if this is a better fit for me and my shaky hand, I'm going to be very excited about that. So let's give this a try, shall we? So this is a matte black, and it does glide on very nicely. The tip is definitely a little big, but I think that's what the point that you're going for here is to have big, bold eyeliner. All right, that actually went on pretty easily. I'm going to take a little bit of a brush, one of my teeny tiny brushes, and sort of smudge it a little bit. Since this is a Billie Joe Armstrong product, I'm going to take some of the smudgy about halfway underneath my eye as well. Then I'm going to add some color on top. I will say that this glides on like a dream, and in terms of fulfilling my, 90s alternative gothy girl fantasies, kind of feeling this eyeliner. I'm actually not going to do too much to smudge it because I'm appreciating the way it's looking, and apparently if you just don't touch it, it'll dry this way and it won't smudge. So that's what I hear. So I'm going to go back to the eyeshadow palette and add a little bit of color underneath my eye as well. So we still haven't used either Jeffrey or this shade over here, Tangerine. So I think I'm going to take a little bit of Tangerine and go into my inner corner, and then I'm going to take Jeffrey along the bottom middle, sort of connect it to the black. Tangerine is super dusty. I can see the powder floating in front of my eyes as I'm applying it, but it actually applied pretty well, so I'm pleased. And now we're going to take a little bit of Jeffrey and sort of edge that a little further in. I'm actually going to take a little bit more of this Chris shade and take that along this outer side here. I want to pack on a little bit more color. And for good measure, a little bit more Electric Violet right in the center of my lid. And this is the whole completed eye look. Sort of tried to take every color in the palette and put it on. I actually like the way it turned out. The shadows, I wouldn't necessarily use them all together, but I'm actually really excited about this eyeliner. Like, I really like it. It was really easy to put on. I'm enjoying the intense look it's giving me, and frankly, it's because it's so much bigger, it's a lot easier for me to hold on to, and I don't feel like my hand is shaking as much. So definitely thumbs up for this eyeliner. In terms of the Pro Palette, it is very powdery. However, I'm not getting a ton of kick up on the actual palette itself. I'm pretty impressed with the pigmentation, especially of the colored shades. The white one's pretty sheer, and also, so that's Porcelain. So Porcelain is pretty sheer, and frankly, so was Chris, until, that's the blue shade, until I sort of packed it on a little bit deeper. That one went on very sheer as well. But the other shades I was pretty impressed with, and I think what I actually wanted out of the Pro Palette, this contains pretty much all of those. So this is a good fit for me. It may be that you would prefer to have the bigger palette, but I would prefer this size and just these colors. I didn't feel there was enough in that palette otherwise that I absolutely needed to have. This is what's working for me. Anyway, thank you so much for watching. If you're enjoying the content on this channel, please subscribe. I hope you're all having a wonderful day, and I'll see you all soon. Bye!